hope you're having a great day. Today I want to talk about psoriasis, vitiligo, eczema, autoimmune conditions that you don't have to live with. Of course, there are a few rare cases where no matter what gets done, sometimes the patient doesn't get better. But what about all the other cases where people do get better? We have hundreds and hundreds of queries coming in from around the world about this particular condition that we treat out of the many others that we do, because it's based on fundamentals that have been lost in the process of treatment. The first thing that we need to understand is this is an autoimmune condition, and I want to explain to you the difference between a diagnosis and a prognosis. We can believe the diagnosis. We can believe what the diagnosis is, that hey, you've been diagnosed with cancer, you've been diagnosed with psoriasis, vitiligo, eczema, arthritis, diabetes, cardiovascular. That's the diagnosis based on symptoms, blood parameters, and the investigation done by your medical professionals. But do we have to believe the prognosis? That is where I want you to start with a mindset change. What is a prognosis? That, hey, this can never be reversed. Hey, this can't be done. Hey, 25% of this die with this disease. Hey, 50% of this never get better. That's the prognosis. And that is where I want you to rewrite your own prognosis. And let me give you an example. I don't have a vaccine to sell you. I don't have a magic food to sell you. I don't have a magic diet to sell you. I don't have a magic concoction or a remedy to sell you. They don't exist. Those are frauds. They don't exist. But I have an idea to inspire you with. And that is, of course it can be put into remission. If it couldn't be put into remission, there wouldn't be thousands and thousands of people with these conditions who today live without it. That's the first thinking point. That's the first thinking point. Did they have a different medication from you? The answer is no. The answer is no. For all autoimmune conditions, there's a steroid or an immunosuppressant, because these are conditions where the immune system is erratic and it can only be controlled by a steroid or an immunosuppressant. That is in the world of medicine. But beyond that, what about so many people out there who don't have that condition? Their autoimmune has been put into remission. It can't be reversed because it's not a disease. It's a flare-up. And when the triggers are removed, it goes into remission. The patient's good. The triggers come back, the flare-ups happen again. And that is why you use the word remission for autoimmune conditions. Your flare-ups decrease because guess what? You took care of the triggers. They come back again. You reflect. You realize those triggers have come back again. So number one is your mindset, I believe. For the longest time, people were told that thyroid is irreversible and you need to be on a medication for a lifetime. Today, we know that's untrue for most thyroid. Most thyroid. There are loads of people living who have gotten off their medication by making lifestyle changes and working with their medical professionals to wean off the medication safely and over time. So was the type 2 diabetes lie, where thousands and millions of people lived with type 2 diabetes thinking that they have to take medication for a lifetime, until they started to make lifestyle changes and they realized that, hey, my levels are coming down. They went to their doctors, the doctors reduced the medication. Their levels further came down because they made lifestyle changes, their doctors put them off medication. So my point is our mindsets and perception first. We do not have to believe the prognosis. When it comes to cancer, I'm not trying to give you false hope. There are many cancer patients who will die. And there are many psoriatic patients where the psoriasis will get worse. I'm just trying to say that you're not a number. You're not a statistic. All the statistics are based on real people and sample sizes. But when you go deep down into those sample sizes, you don't know how many of them changed their lifestyles, how many didn't. How many of them smoked for 30 years before giving it up, and how many of them were non-smokers. How many of them have immense emotional distress in their life, and how many don't. So the statistics and numbers are not accurate. It's a great percentage for us to know where we fall. But do we need to succumb to the prognosis? Do we need to succumb to the statistic? That's where your failure is. When you believe that a number thrown upon you is your sentence, is your verdict. Now let's break down psoriasis today and understand how thousands of people around the world are getting better and putting it into remission. I'm going to speak to you very generically today based on 99% of the patients we've had success with. Okay, number one, it's an autoimmune condition. What's going wrong in your body? What is triggering your immune system, your white blood cells, to attack you? Your T cells to attack your skin and cause that. Because it starts to attack your skin and damage, now your skin starts to grow in overdrive. And that's why you have the piling up of scaly skin, dry skin, psoriatic scalp, problems and all of that stuff. What is wrong with your immune system? You can go around putting moisturizers and oral remedies and taking steroids, but you still got to address the root cause of the problem. What is triggering my immune system to be erratic? Because guess what? If you don't address this root cause, today it's causing psoriasis. Tomorrow it's causing something else. There's a huge correlation between psoriasis and the early onset of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and other issues. And that's why we can never just treat a disease at a symptomatic level or a condition at a symptomatic level. Treat the symptom. Please take the meds you need to, but you must also address the root cause of the problem. So this is the second step. Now you've understood what autoimmune is. Whether you have a systemic lupus, whether you have a Hashimoto's thyroid, a multiple sclerosis, doesn't matter. It's the same fundamental. You need to find the trigger or the triggers that is causing your immune system to launch attack on your body. The intelligence is warped. It's completely warped. And you need to correct that intelligence. So you need to understand that you're a bio-individual. We've seen thousands of patients with psoriasis, vitiligo, eczema. Some of them are children, some of them are adults. And the one thing I've learned over 13 years is everyone is different. The same approach cannot work on everyone else because the triggers are different. Everyone's threshold of stress is different. Attachment to stress is different. Their skin quality is different. Their gut health is different. And that's why everyone needs to be treated as a bio-individual and as a unique individual. The number one commonality we see in psoriasis, vitiligo, autoimmune conditions is stress, chronic stress. And that makes absolute common sense to you. When you're constantly stressed and you're in the sympathetic nervous system, it's always on the edge. You're living on the edge. We're not meant to be in the sympathetic nervous system for long. We're meant to be in short periods of time and come back to parasympathetic. Parasympathetic, regeneration, growth, repair. But the more time you spend in the sympathetic, your body learns to live on the edge. It learns to live on the edge. And that is one fundamental of autoimmune conditions, the commonality, stress, chronic stress, emotional suppression, negativity, anger, all of this suppressed, bottling up, coming out in outbursts. Genuine problems like ugly divorces, property matters, in-law problems, family problems. All of these are chronic stresses. You're in an environment where you're constantly living on the edge. When it comes to children, people say, but Luke, what stress does my child have? Hey, they have the stress of watching y'all fight, watching y'all mistreat one another, where their security is threatened. Their security is threatened. Children need security. They need a feeling of security. When that's threatened, they're living on the edge. It's survival. That's how it is, right? It's purely survival. In children, you'll identify patterns of bedwetting. Continuing when they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, demonstrating some amount of psychological trauma or fear that exists in them. All of these things have to be taken into account. Bullying at school. So they're in the environment all the time. They're scared to go to school. They come home, they're scared to go the next day. In school, they're scared. Immune system's erratic. There are many, many things that you need to look at beyond just the steroid or the oatmeal milk that you may be putting on your skin. Stress is one of the biggest commonalities, and it has to be addressed in your healing or your recovery plan. Number 2, a leaky gut or inflamed gut is a commonality again. And when you're chronically stressed, you have gut problems. And when you have gut problems, you can be chronically stressed. So part of the recovery plan is a complete 100% focus on the gut, whether it's inflammation, whether someone's celiac, intolerant to gluten, intolerant to dairy, certain food allergies. When you take those foods, the gut starts to get better, inflammation comes down. All of these things are also connected to the flare-ups of every single autoimmune condition. So you need to look at the gut. Sometimes we overlook the fact that you had a cut or an injury that then developed into the skin issue. And that has to be taken into account as well. There are many, many reasons. Because when there's an injury in the skin, or there's a tear in the skin, or an injury or a wound, okay, based on the kind of immune system you have, it can build different problems. So we look at that as well. Children with colic, early stages of life, they were either on a lot of antibiotics for whatever reasons. They had colic, a lot of colic in them, a lot of gas, constipated children. All of this builds up towards an autoimmune condition. And that's why you need to consider the gut health of a child when they have this condition, or even adults who are living with chronic constipation or chronic IBS with constipation. These are, again, root causes that can cause all of these skin issues. Fear and anxiety, a huge one, because in fear and anxiety, you're constantly on the edge. You're living in fear. You're living in insecurity. How do you think you feel inside? You know how you feel. How do you think trillions of cells in the body also feel? So you see, the emotional aspect is a huge part of your recovery plan. Huge part of your recovery plan. The weather can make a difference. Sunlight can be great for some people with psoriasis. For other people, it could be their biggest enemy. So you see, everyone's different. You can't say, oh, sunlight's bad for everyone. No. Chlorine in a pool can be your worst enemy. Whereas for some kids, it doesn't aggravate them at all. Or some adults, it doesn't aggravate them at all. So you see, everyone is different, but the weather changes can all make a change. How is your body adapting to the weather change? All of these things have to be taken into account. Mineral deficiencies. This is huge, because if your body doesn't have the power it needs to keep you healthy, so mineral deficiencies like vitamin deficiencies like B12, vitamin D3, B3, trace minerals, zinc, copper, selenium, all of these things play a huge role in the recovery plan as well. So a lot of people jump onto topical treatments, moisturizers, ACV, oat milk. All of that is great, but you still got to address the root cause of the problem. It's an inside-out approach. While the oat milk can give you a lot of relief, for some people it makes no difference. Some people use diluted apple cider vinegar with water and they get fantastic relief from the itching, from the inflammation in the skin. For some people it becomes worse. So you got to keep an open mind and always live with an openness in your mind that, hey, just because this worked for someone else, it doesn't have to work for me. My child or my body is unique. It requires that unique approach towards it. So you see, I can not stand up today and tell people oat milk is the best as a topical application. It's great for maybe 80% of our patients. And for the other 20%, it doesn't help. For the other 20%, something else may be great, like aloe vera, mixed with a little bit of turmeric. It's different for everyone. Absolutely different. And also, we need to look at infections in your search, in your deeper search for the root cause. People with a lot of infections can be prone to this. Strep throat. A lot of children or adults who have suffered from strep throat, or they have it and they don't even know about it because it's not yet been diagnosed. The outcome could be psoriasis, vitiligo, eczema, because everything in the human body is interconnected. You have psoriasis and you're smoking and drinking, it's only going to aggravate more and more. And finally, you come down to nutrition. So it's different for everyone. The plan has to be anti-inflammatory. It has to be focused on gut. It has to be focused on absorption of minerals and amino acids. You have to have the right amount of stomach acid to make it work. So you see, all of this thing sounds overwhelming, but it's actually simple. It comes down to you living a healthy lifestyle. The right nutrition, right amount of movement, the good quality sleep, and your emotional wellness. So first, there's a mindset change. We're surprised when people come to us, they've lived with psoriasis for 20 years because they were told that there's nothing that can be done. But that's not true. That's not true. There are many things now that you understand that you haven't tried. And when you do different things, you get different results. And like I said, sometimes people don't get results because guess what? They're doing everything, but they can't deal with their stress. And that's the only trigger that they probably have to work with to avoid flare-ups. And a lot of people, they realize that, hey, when they put these pieces of the puzzle together, their flare-ups disappear. And the moment they come back, they reflect. They come back, Luke, it's come back again. And we go over it. We reflect, oh yeah, I did eat a little bit of gluten, if they will see that. Oh no, last week was really stressful. I was going through a lot of stress. The flare-up came back. They get back into their routine, the flare-ups disappear. That's exactly how it works. I want you to have faith and belief in your body's intelligence. It's like a puzzle. When you put the pieces back together, create the right internal environment and the right external environment, that's where treatment moves to healing. Treatment moves to recovery. That is the power of lifestyle. There is no magic ointment. There is no magic diet. There is no magic medication. There is no magic nothing. There is an intelligence within your body that's been compromised. How do you reharness it? Very simple, by creating the environment for it to do the work that it's designed to do. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you.